So Amber Heard has some kind of victory with this having Johnny Depp turn over medical records to her and her lawyers. Something kind of medical records to do with drug abuse. I guess, those related to coming off of drugs or whatnot to prove that he was abusive, I guess, or just to smear him. It doesn't seem like there's much point in the whole thing because it just seems like you know, she's not denying that she abused him anymore. She's not trying to keep the hoax going so much as like humiliate him. And he has talked about his drug abuse, in the past. I mean, it's not like it's like he's ever hidden the fact that he uses drugs or has used drugs, you know, and he's been honest about all of it, and he's gone clean, and I just find it interesting that she also wants information from his exes, to investigate whether or not he was abusive to them. And four of them have spoken up. I think it was four or three of them. They've all spoken up and said that he was not abusive to them, like Winona Ryder, Vanessa Paradis, and Lori Ann Allison, his first wife, and who also said that Johnny never even screamed at her, and so I don't know what she's trying to do. I mean, I don't know what she's trying to prove. I mean, she just seems like she's again grasping at straws and just searching for anything to distract the public from all the mountains of evidence that Johnny has put out and the witnesses, the multiple witnesses that have spoken out and claimed that she was never, bruised when they saw her. She didn't have any blemishes or bruises on her face at all. Skin was clear, sometimes no makeup, and except for that one day when the woman said she saw a mark on Amber's face. That was the 27th of May of 2016 when she went out to get this restraining order thing. And, Johnny wasn't even in the country. So, he had left the country, shortly after the so-called incident on May 21st, when he supposedly threw the phone at her, which has been proven false repeatedly. Nobody, I mean, the two men that were there did not see anything like that. They went in the place with Johnny. Oh my God, and it was just the whole thing. I mean, I find it baffling that the media is still, not covering the fact that Amber. I mean, they've had articles about it, and they've had all kinds of things, but they're still slanted towards her, and she's still getting gigs with, organizations, and it's like, when are they going to stop? Stop. Wake up and realize that this woman is an abuser. This woman is a liar, a cheat, and a fraud. And she has disgraced everything the Me Too movement was supposed to do. And I just hope the world realizes it. A lot of people seem to. Perez Hilton put out a nicely neutral, sort of neutral article detailing all the, the statements that were made by Winona Ryder, not Kate Moss, but Lori Ann Ellison and Vanessa Paradis, you know. And speaking of Kate Moss, that whole thing with the, just to cover that, with the hotel where he smashed the hotel room or whatever, the police came and they found her there unharmed, and they were both sitting smoking cigarettes on the couch of the battered room. The room was assaulted. The inanimate objects were assaulted that night, but no people were assaulted that night. Anyway, so Johnny Depp, as far as I'm concerned, he's got this, and I just wish it weren't going to happen next year. I just wish we were going to just be settled out now and just have the court date now, and all this dragging things out, and constant back and forth. I mean, if I were a judge, I'd be like, wow, all this evidence, I mean, let's have a court date and get this out on the table, and just look at it, and I'll make a decision. Like, a judge should be able to make a decision based on all the evidence, everything in Amber Heard's declaration and everything Johnny gave him. Johnny's is so overwhelmingly more plausible. Johnny's is so overwhelmingly, it just overthrows everything that she said or tried to say, and it just, I don't understand how these things work, but I just know that he's going to win this. I mean, there's no way he can't, It just doesn't make sense otherwise. But I wanted to weigh in on this again. And I'm just keeping my eyes open for the news, and as we flow ahead, all of us in our journeys, and I and mine, things are going pretty well for me right now, for the most part. So just keeping my eye on the world and calling out the narcissists as I see them, and calling out, just trying to make sense of the world, like what we live in right now, and trying to stay afloat in it. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the flip side.